Welcome to Channel 26 News. Today we'll be learning about many things about ancient Greece.
In this segment about ancient Greece, we'll be talking about the Persian Wars. We will have an interview with one of the survivors of the Persian War. Next, we will go over to achievements and have an interview with Pericles. Last, we will learn about the Delian League, also from Pericles.
Before the interview, we will be giving you some facts so you get a little background on the war before the interview.
The Persians' goal was to take over all of Greece.
The Persian Wars were a very intense series of wars where there were many invasions by Persia.
Persia was the largest empire at the time of the Persian Wars, and no one could defeat them.
Persia had the strongest military in the world.
Athens had a very strong navy, but they had a very weak military, and they got attacked on land from Persia many times.
Now we will go over to one of the amazing Athenians that survived in the Persia War.
He will give you some more facts on the Persian War.
We now go to Achilles.
Hello, welcome to Athens. We will have an interview with one of the survivors from the Persian War.
In the Persian War, horses started to replace chariots. The wealthy people rode to war on their horses and were dismounted to fight. Soldiers had to use javelins to protect themselves.
Now tell me, did Athens ever defeat? What was one thing that kept the Athenian army from not giving up after all the years of losing to Persia? How did they keep going even they had lost so many times?
The only thing that kept us fighting was that we believed in ourselves. We just kept fighting, and when Persia came out in our ocean, our navy attacked them, and we finally defeated them.
Who was Pheidippides? Why was he so important in the Persian Wars, and what did he do?
Pheidippides was a man who ran 26 miles from Marathon to Athens to give the news that Athens had finally beat Persia. When he got to Athens, he collapsed on the ground from exhaustion and died. He was very much honored because the Greeks have named a 26-mile run after him. We call the 26-mile run a marathon. He was a very amazing man.
I have asked enough questions. Now I'll let you give us some facts. Any facts you want.
Athens could have been said to save all of Greece from the Persian domination.
Thank you very much for teaching us more about the Persian War. Now we will go back to the answers.
Welcome back. I hope you learned something today in this amazing segment about the Persian War.
We will now go to the amazing art and architecture.
Now moving on to the art and architecture in ancient Greece.
They put a lot of money, time, and effort into all of their art and monuments. Their art showed their personal pride and symbols of greatness.
We will now be going to ancient Greece to interview an artist to talk about her art. Now giving the spotlight to our reporter, Brooke.
We are still in Greece in front of the Parthenon. Phidias, can you tell us a little about the monuments in ancient Greece? I'm here in front of the beautiful Parthenon with Calandra, a Greek artist, to talk about the art in ancient Greece. I hear the art here is the most unique in the world. Is that true?
Yes, it is. We built sculptures, pottery, and jewelry, and we painted art on vases. In fact, the most popular Greek art is pottery. Also, I've had some of my artwork put up for the public to see, and some of it was done.
That is so amazing.
Yeah, we think our art shows the importance and accomplishments of us human beings.
Wow, I never knew that art was such a big part of Athenian civilization. I've learned so much. Thank you for sharing with us, Calandra. Well, now moving on to the architecture. I'm going to interview.
Yes, the temple is on top of the Acropolis and is in honor of the city's patron, goddess Athena. Being in the Acropolis makes it even more special because it was just dedicated to the Athenians, and the Acropolis was religious shrine of high fortress.
Wow, I never knew that the Parthenon and Acropolis was so important to your community. Well, like the art, well, thank you for sharing with us, Phidias. I was so amazed about all that you told me. I'll bring the spotlight back to Alex and Penny.
I learned so much that I've never ever known about the art and architecture in ancient Greece and Athens. Haven't you learned so much?
Yeah, I've known that the Athenians are very unique people, but I never knew why. Now I know.
I've been to Athens and never noticed that there was detail on the monuments, but now that Phidias mentioned it, next time I go there, I'll look at all the monuments very carefully to see all of it.
Yeah, I never knew they added details to the monuments either. Did you know that the most popular art in Athens is pottery?
No, I didn't until Calandra mentioned it. I think it would be jewelry because I see a lot of people wearing it these days.
Well, now shifting gears to the accomplishments, Pericles and Delian League in Athens.
You will get to see interviews of Pericles and learn a lot about him and what he did as a king.
You will learn many more facts about Athens, and you will learn many facts about the Delian League, and you will learn about their accomplishments.
We will be back shortly to learn more about Athens on Channel 26. Pericles, who do you think had the biggest influence on your early life?
Well, I think that I learned a lot from the musical theorist Dino. He taught me many things about life, not only music.
How would you describe your parents?
I had very powerful parents. My father was a brave hero of the Persian War. My mother was part of a culturally powerful family.
After you became king, what was one of your first decisions?
Well, to demonstrate the Athenian naval power, I took a fleet of our ships into Black Sea, so that all the other city-states could see our might. After that, though, in 451 BC, to be exact, I switched gears and focused on making Athens in the cultural and political leaders.
That was when you created the Delian League, correct?
No, I united the Greek city-states into the Delian League more than 20 years earlier in 477 BC. But we will talk about the Delian League more later.
Okay, I heard riots in the areas of the Athenian city-state that are less populated. How did you deal with these riots?
I extended some Athenian settlements out to those areas that were less populated. That way, the locals who supported me shut down the barbarians that were not in full support of me.
Very smart. Let's talk more about the Delian League. Is it true that the league moves its treasury from Delos to Athens?
Yes, that is true. After a failed attack on Egypt, we wanted to make sure that our money was safe from their attacks.
Was that the only reason why the league moved the treasury to Athens?
Okay, not that. No, that wasn't the only reason. I took money from the league's treasury to fund some projects on the Acropolis.
Did the rest of the Delian League's members ever find out about this?
No, they didn't. Only my advisors knew about it.
Let's switch gears now. How do you feel about the women of your time?
Follow under the Athenian general Cymbeline, culminating in the victory at the river Eurymedon in Paphlagonia in about 469 BC, which freed the Greeks in Cyprus.
Can you tell me about the meetings they had?
The league had meetings on the island of Delos, sacred to Apollo, and stored its common treasure there.
Was the league successful?
The league was also successful in driving the Persians from the Aegean Sea, although its nature gradually altered.
Did they contribute money?
The willingness of allies to contribute money instead of ships speeded the process for Athens. Many people regarded him as the first historian, and his works on the Persian War were the first historical works in history. He was also one of the world's first geographers. Also, the accomplishments of Aristophanes were good. His humorous plays brought almost all of Athens to the theaters. Democracy was the first also finalized in my time.
Did you have time for friendships while being the most famous politician?
Yes, I was friends with several famous philosophers of my time, including Sophocles and Phidias. Sophocles wrote amazing tragic plays, and I enjoyed watching him work. Phidias was the more laid back of the two and loved his beautiful sculptures.
Did you make any decisions that were loved by your citizens?
Yes, once I lowered the theater admissions so that poorer people could get in and watch the great plays of my friend Sophocles. Actually, almost all of my decisions were loved by my citizens. I was very persuasive public speaker, and I usually persuaded the assembly to do what I wanted.
Was this around the time of the Peloponnesian Wars?
It was close, but I have been wanting to talk about that all day. The Spartans grew wary of our increasing power in the Delian League and as a city-state. They were afraid that we would become too powerful, so they first asked us to concede.
How did you take their request?
I wasn't about to forfeit that I had done for Athens. I told Sparta that I would have no part in their ridiculous request. I refused to concede.
That was when Sparta attacked, right?
Yes, I had a strategy for fighting the Spartans. Since I knew that their infantry was so strong, I evacuated the countryside so that Spartans would not have anyone to fight. I then gathered everyone in an area and conducted naval attacks on the Spartan army that had no one to fight.
But something went wrong with the area that everyone was staying in, right?
Yes, there was a plage that hit the Athenian population, but this was around the same time that Athens began to try to reason with Sparta. I was taken out of office.
Were you ever put back in office?
Of course, I was taken out of office for a very short amount of time, but I had other things to deal with. My 2 sons had died of the plage, and many others died too. I had to come down with a case too.
We are live on the scene where Pericles, the great Athenian leader, has just died of the plague. There are still good times for the Athenians to stay ahead. Back to
In the Golden Age, everyone had at least one ally. A little bit after the Persian War, relations between Sparta and Athens began to deteriorate. The Athens grew powerful and wealthy. The Spartans felt threatened. The democratic system was finalized during this time. The most famous politician was Pericles, who dominated Athenian politics from 443 to 429 BC. As he was elected repeatedly, he was a powerful public speaker, and he usually persuaded the assembly to vote the way he wanted. One of his most notable achievements was to organize the rebuilding of Acropolis. During the Golden Age, the city was improved and the temples of the Acropolis were rebuilt. The Acropolis is a monument. The Acropolis is a hill which has the Parthenon on top of it. Before Hippocrates' time, they thought diseases were punishments from the gods. Today, doctors still promise to follow his tough rules when they graduate from medical school. Herodotus, whom some call the first historian and one of the first geographers, wrote about the Persian Wars. Sophocles wrote about tragedies or serious plays in which the character comes to an unhappy end. Aristophanes wrote comedies or humorous plays. Athens has been the center of the Greek civilization for 4,000 years. The capital of modern Greece is still dominated by 5th century BCE. Landmarks including the Acropolis was very interesting, and Athens was definitely a very cool part of Greece's history. Back to you, Anna.
Pericles did a lot for a city-state.
That's right, but I was fascinated with all of the achievements of the Athenians in art and architecture. They made so many temples.
Yes, the Athenians were very artistic people. Well, I guess that concludes our section of Athens. I hope that our viewers learned a lot because I certainly did.
See you next time on Channel 26 News.